Hello. So to start with, we are Team Attackers PS Square, and we are three members. Myself, Sumina, and my other team members are Smith and Pranav. I will be giving a brief introduction about what we are doing in our project. So we are performing Sinful Attack, that is a kind of denial of service attack. For that, we are doing packet sniffing to analyze the network traffic, and spoofing for generating random IPs. And at last, with the help of sniffing and spoofing, we are making a DOS attack to overflow a single port on a targeted server. So these are our key topics that are to be discussed, as I said earlier: sniffing, spoofing, DOS attacks, and we will also give an overview about like how we can prevent the attacks, that is kind of network security protection.
So let's first understand the packet sniffing in detail. A attack is defined in a network security as a depth or inception of a data through the collection of network traffic using a packet sniffer. It, if a data packets are not encrypted when they are sent across the network, the content of the network packet can be read using a sniffer. And an attacker can use a sniffer application to analyze the network and gather information in order to cause the network and a crash become corrupted or read the network communication. Next slide please. Now let's understand the workflow of the packet sniffing. Firstly, a packet sniffer, also known as a packet protocol or a network analyzer, is a device that monitors the network traffic. Sniffer examines the data packet. These packets are addressed to specific device but in a specific mode called promiscuous mode. A sniffer can be set up in one of a two way. The first is unfiltered, which means they will collect all the potential packet and save them to a local hard disk for a later analysis. Then they are filter mode, in which analyzers only record packet container a specific for a specific data items. Packet sniffer can operate on both the wire or wireless network, and their effectiveness is determined by the amount of data they can see as a result of a network security procedure. Sniffer on a wire network may have access to packet of every connected computer or may be restricted by the location of the network switch. On a wireless network, most sniffer can only scan one channel at a time. However, using multiple wireless interface can improve this capability. Next slide, please.
Okay, so moving forward, what is packet spoofing? Spoofing is a specific type of cyber attack in which someone attempts to use a computer device or network to trick other computer networks by impersonating a genuine entity. It's one of many tools hackers use to gain access to computers to mine them for sensitive data or even launch a DOS attack. Of the several types of spoofing, IP spoofing is the most common. Next slide, please. So, how does spoofing work? So, this type of scam happens when someone wants to hide the location from where they are sending or requesting data. So, they replace the source IP address with a fake one. The spoof IP address looks like it's from a trusted source, that is the original IP address, while masking its true identity, an unknown third party. This approach uses thousands of computers to send messages with the same spoofed source IP address to a huge number of recipients. The receiving machines automatically transmit acknowledgement to the spoof IP address and flood the targeted server. Next slide, please.
Okay, so now I'll say what exactly is a sin-flood attack. So a sin-flood attack is a form of denial of service attack in which an attacker rapidly initiates a connection to a server without finalizing the connection. The server has to spend resources waiting for the half of open connections, which can consume enough resources to make the system unresponsive to legitimate traffic. So, what is SYN? SYN is a TCP packet sent to another machine requesting to establish the connection. Now, how does this exactly works? So, To create a denial of service, an attacker exploits the fact that after an initial SYN packet has been received, the server will respond back with one or more SYN or acknowledgement packets and wait for the final step in the handshake process. Here's how it works: the attacker sends a high volume of SYN packets to the targeted server, often with the spoofed IP addresses. Then the server responds to each one of the connection requests and leaves an open port ready to receive the response. While the server waits for the final acknowledgement packets, which never arrives, the attacker continues to send more SYN packets. The arrival of each new SYN packets causes the server to temporarily maintain a new open port connection for a certain length of time, and once all the available ports have been utilized, the server is unable to function normally.
Okay, so now let's understand the logic of sniffing attack. So this is our code for sniffing, where we are analyze the traffic using TCP protocol, which you can see in our output. The next slide, please. Where we are printing its version, header length, TTL, protocol, source port, target port, etc.
So here is an output which shows that sent one packets, where the packets are being sent from the targeted IP, that is targeted IP, which we will show in next slide, and it is used to overflow the server and keep it busy.
So this is a code for spoofing and flooding using TCP protocol. The default gateway IP used is 10.90.5 and the HTTP port used is 90. We have created a method named Sinful Attack which takes source IP, source port and destination port. Firstly, we are performing spoofing by generating random IPs using random IP method and saving it under the variable source address. In the next step, we are sending the packet with source address, source IP, source port, destination port. Lastly, we are infinitely calling the same function to perform flooding. Next slide, please. Here we captured the same using Wireshark. The red bars show the attack performed. Please note the source IP, the source port, and the target port, which are the same as mentioned in the code. Thank you. Go ahead.
Now it's time to understand how we can prevent this attack. First, understand for sniffing. Almost any information can be captured using sniffer, including which the website a user visit, what is view on the site, the content, the destination of any email, and details about any download files, and also includes many reputable antivirus software package. Outwards facing, the sniffer examines incoming network traffic for a specific element of code, assisting in the prevention of a computer virus infection known as a malware. However, it is possible for unauthorized package sniffer to be installed on a corporate network if a user downloads a malware email attachment or a form on a website. Once installed, the package sniffer can record any data sent over the network and send it to the command and the control server for further analysis. Hacker can then attempt package injection or a man-in-the-middle attack, as well as the compromise any data that was not encrypted before being sent. Packet sniffer, when used correctly, can help clean up the network traffic and limit malware infection. However, intelligent security software is required to protect against this type of use. Next slide, please.
The options to protect against spoofing include monitoring networks for a typical activity, deploying packet filtering to detect inconsistencies like outgoing packets with source IP addresses that don't match to those on the organization's network, using robust verification methods, authenticating all IP addresses, and using a network attack blocker. Moreover, placing at least a portion of the computing resources behind a firewall is also a good idea. Web designers are also encouraged to migrate sites to IPv6, the newest internet protocol. It makes IP spoofing harder by including encryption and authentication steps. Next slide, please.
Okay, so how can we prevent DOS attacks? So as the DDoS attacks are very complex nowadays, so firewalls and IPS devices, as they are critical to network security, they do not provide adequate uh, sorry, I lost my connection. I'll start again. Okay, so to prevent DOS attacks, what we can do is firewall and IPS devices are critical to network security and are not adequate to protect against complex DDoS attacks. So today's more sophisticated DDoS attack methodologies require a multifaceted approach that enables users to look across both internet infrastructure and network availability. Some of the capabilities to consider for stronger DDoS protection and faster mitigation of TCP SYN flood DDoS attacks include support both inline and out of band deployment to ensure there is not one single point of failure on the network. Broad network visibility with the ability to see and analyze traffic from different part of the network. Varied sources of threat intelligence, including statistical anomaly detection, customizable threshold alerts, and fingerprints of known or emerging threats in order to assure fast and accurate detection. Scalability to manage attacks of all sizes, ranging from low end that is like 1 Gbps to even high end like 40 Gbps. So here are some references that we have used, and now I'll be giving a demo that how we did set up a LAN and tried creating a DOS attack. So here we have set up a Docker for that, and these are two hosts, but we are considering this host as our target IP, and currently we are in the root of container in the root of the attacker's container. So here we are just going to run our sniffer code. uh, in a while it will start sniffing the packets. Okay, so here we go. So here we have sniffing is started and it's capturing the packets. And now here as we captured the packets, after that we'll run our flood DOS attack to overflow the data from the targeted IP, that is 10.9.0.5. So here we can check. Here we have started capturing it, and we can see that it is overflooded with 10.9.0.5 targeted IP. So here, as we can see that Smith told previously during the presentation that our targeted IP is 10.9.0.5, our source port is 90, and our destination point is 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, it is making a DOS attack, and it is clearly visible that how many packets, the number of packets are being sent from this IP. Thank you.